We're on the road this week for Adventures in Astronomy, and that's because we've got some really special stuff happening today, which I'm sure you've heard about, unless you've been living in a bin somewhere under darkness. Today is the solar eclipse. We're hoping to see about 93% of the sun covered, and the other thing that's happening tonight is the Perseids meteor shower. But I'm hoping to convince you this week to join a society if you're not already a member of an astronomy society, because you're going to get so much out of joining the society. And I know so many of you watching this probably have never been to a society. I know about a third of you out there are from America. Welcome, Americans. It's great to see you. But it don't make distance or don't make difficulty a reason not to be part of a society, because they're great. And over the course of this video today, I'm going to hopefully convince you that really, if you're not in a society already, to join one. So my name's Martin. This is Adventures in Astronomy. Hope you enjoyed what we've got to show you today. Okay, so we're here with Jackie, who's been at Wycombe Astronomical Society for how long?
I think 1980 was when I joined.
Wow, I don't want to reveal my age in 1980. I was around, but pretty small. What made you join the society?
Because I used to live in Los Angeles, and I lived in the San Fernando Valley, and we lived up on one side of it, overlooking the main observatory in Los Angeles. And I used to see the observatory working on the other side of the valley, and it made me interested. And so when we came back to England, I then started to look for a society and somebody who would know a little bit about astronomy.
You were one of the first people I met, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I can remember just kind of checking out your scope, and you were really kind enough to just show me how it was a little refractor. Do you remember it?
Yes, yes.
Have you still got it?
Well, yes, I've got one. Well, I've got a larger one and a smaller one, and my daughter lives in northern Italy, so I've put one over there as well.
I can remember Chris Rowland helping me out as well,
yes,
with polar alignment, and
yes,
I didn't have a clue. Is Chris here tonight?
No, he's up north visiting friends.
Chris has an enormous amount of knowledge, doesn't he?
Oh, yes.
Didn't he write some of the protocols for Celestron back in the day?
Yes, I think he did. Yes.
Yeah. And so there's an enormous amount of knowledge in the society, sort of generally, and there's always somebody who knows something about something that you don't know.
Exactly.
Tell me how long you've been in society.
Before Jackie.
Pre-1980.
Well, it couldn't be pre-1980 because that's when the society was formed.
You're a founding member.
Yeah, not long afterwards, yes. And I joined because that was the decade Halley's Comet was coming.
Halley's Comet, 1986.
Yeah, it was 1986.
Yes, that's right.
And I've been interested in astronomy since I was about 12. So you get home from school, do your homework, and the sky was dark. And Wycombe didn't really have much entertainment for people in those days. And that's when I decided I needed a telescope. So I got a paper round so I could buy the affordable telescopes at the time, which was a 60mm refractor. It's the normal telescope, the prism's upside down. You project it onto whiteboard. I have on the whiteboard a 6-inch circle, which is the standard size, or 15 centimetres. So you can see where the spots are, draw them, and then you can do as Galileo did when he first observed the sun. If you can do it daily, you'll see the sunspots go across the sun, which take anything from 7 to 10 days.
There's something to be said as well, I think, for because I've realised in recent years really that my skills in terms of reading the night sky, knowing where things are are not so great anymore because I've got used to all the computerization. So you've stayed with the manual way of doing things?
Yes, I have not got a computer.
Why
Why do I need a computer? Because you had to find things all the way up until 1990s. They call it star hopping. So you're looking for an object, and to give you a good example, is the Ring Nebula, M57 in Lara. You had to find it. You found Lara in the sky, Vega, down, and you the two bottom stars, it was there. So you had to sweep from one star to the other, gradually working your way up, and then you'll find the Ring Nebula.
I've just paused on the interviews because we're starting to see the first chunks coming out of the moon for the solar eclipse, and it's just great to see everybody. The excitement level has suddenly risen as everybody's saying the first chunks are coming out, and of course this will go on for the next hour or so, if not a little bit beyond that. But it's just great to be here with all of these people sharing stories and sharing their knowledge. So we're going to pause there a little bit so that I can look at the eclipse myself and not miss it.
These are the moments I don't want to miss. I could get used to this.
Well, I'm looking at the eclipse now, and actually this is just with an ND filter on my camera, and I think this is as good as we're going to get. I think this looks to be about 93% perhaps, and it looks absolutely terrific. Still can't look at it without eclipse glasses on. That's always a very bad idea, but it's great to be with these people here tonight watching this together for something that's not going to return until 2090, at least not in this kind of state. There is eclipse happening in, I think it's 2029, but it's only going to be about 35% crossing of the moon, so we're not going to get this view again for a lot of years. So I'm here with Chris. Chris, you've been a member of Wycombe Society for how long?
Approximately 13 years.
So a bit longer than me. And why did you join the society?
I have always been interested in astronomy from a young lad. I was a science teacher, and part of that teaching was astronomy as well. So I've learned to see the enthusiasm from other people, particularly children, and that's made me just interested in getting involved.
So you definitely recommend people interested in astronomy should join a society?
Absolutely, because you get a lot of people who say, I'm interested in that, and very interested, and I don't think many of them actually take the plunge and join. I think they should give it a go, at least.
I can remember as well early days where I used to think, well, I've seen the moon, well, I've seen Jupiter, what else is there? And then, of course, I discovered what my passion was, deep sky objects and photographing them. So everyone finds their niche, don't they, of what they love doing.
Yes, and you're very good at that as well. I've seen some of your pictures. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was really interested, when I was younger, just the basics, the planets. But obviously in the last 30, 40 years, a lot of things have been discovered, both in science, physics, as well as astronomy.
Behind the trees now.
Well, I'm here with Paul, who's been a member of Wycombe Astronomical Society for how long?
About 12 years now.
12 years, and you can tell you're a proper astronomer because you've broken out your solar scope here that just looks absolutely terrific. And you don't need a very big solar scope because you don't need much aperture for this kind of thing. But
No, it's quite well lit, thankfully, unlike some of the other targets I try to chase of an evening time. But the sun is a marvellous. It's a nuclear power station. It provides life to Earth. We can look at it in various wavelengths, from white light over here to hydrogen alpha to calcium K to sodium, and we are constantly learning about nuclear physics. You know, what's happening in the sun, how it can influence the weather, and also tides and weather patterns on the Earth as well.
And those billions of nuclear explosions going off all at once, pretty much constantly.
Yeah, every time.
Tell us a little bit about why you joined this society.
Right, when I first got into astronomy, it was after a long childhood desire to look at the stars, which only came to fulfilment, sadly, when Patrick Moore passed away. My son bought me a telescope for Christmas, and we were out there Boxing Day to New Year's looking up the craters of the moon through this Newtonian 4-inch telescope, and we were all amazed. That's when the bug really took a bite, and I thought, I need to photograph this. So I bought a second-hand DSLR camera. I tried to take pictures of the sky, and everything came out orange or yellow, and I got so frustrated. A good friend of mine, Neil, said, come along to Wycombe Astronomical Society. Patrick Clough is doing a talk on DSLR. He teaches at Southall Tech, and one of the little golden nuggets of information he taught was turn your white balance to tungsten before you start. I took that home, and every picture has come out with jet black sky, pinprick stars and proper colour, and it's just grown from there.
Now, you might not remember this, but you gave me that advice when I just bought a DSLR myself. It didn't last too long before I went colour CCD camera, but you gave me that advice because I was getting a bit frustrated about overexposure. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, along with how to get the eye relief strain out of the Celestron eyepieces by giving them a good firm twist every now and then. I do, and it just goes to show how that little bit of knowledge from somebody who teaches digital photography can proliferate through a society, and I'm sure there'll be other people coming into the hobby following our footsteps that will need to know that information, unless the cameras all do this now, they do it automatically. Yeah.
So I'm here with Kevin Hodgson, who is, well, go on, you tell them. You're a member of Wycombe Astronomical Society and you're on the committee for...
Well, I'm the observatory manager. Yeah, so I've been doing the role for about 4 years, trying to basically get the observatory up and running, modernised and working properly and efficiently.
And we are actually inside the observatory. It's been around for a lot of years, and you've done quite a lot of repairs on it.
It's about 30 years ago, I think it was erected. But yeah, most recently, last summer we cleaned and painted the exterior of the dome. Got rid of all the bird poop. This year I've been focusing on the dome rotation mechanism. So underneath the dome we've got this plastic acrylic stuff which sits on 12 of these rollers.
We've got a Celestron. What is that underneath?
It's an 11-inch HD on a CGX.
So sturdy looking mount. And I've got a couple of fond memories of being in here, early days, before I bought any equipment. And it was with chap in our society, Brian, who is a double stars expert. And he taught me, using this very scope, he taught me how to measure...
It would have been a CPC 1100.
It would have been a CPC 1100 back then. Yeah, but he taught me using an eyepiece how to measure distances between double stars. So I got quite a bit of learning in those early days, which I'm really grateful for. What did you join the society for?
Basically, I was having issues just getting my mount aligned and working properly, so I could go from start to start. I tried lots of different things, nothing seemed to work. Eventually figured out the handset was set to California. Wasn't expecting that, but after that still couldn't get it to work. Bought a Star Sense, couldn't get that to work. I thought that was 400 quid down the pan. So I thought I can't keep chucking money at the problem. I need to see people who may have experienced the same problem and get their advice and guidance, and it worked.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we've got here, and this has become more of a thing over the years, gear that we can hire. I know there's a Sea Star now that people can borrow, but we've always had sort of 80-inch scopes.
Not even hiring. It's free to borrow.
Well, you can probably see from the light that people are starting to set up now for the Perseids. So great to talk with Kevin there in the dome, which we're so privileged to have as a society, and anyone can use it, you know. I'm pretty sure most societies have got some sort of similar setup out there, so it's definitely worth looking around and seeing what you've got around you. We've reached that point in the evening where the light is completely gone, and I'd love to introduce you here to John. John is chairman of our Astro Society in Wycombe. John, how long have you done the job?
Well, I picked up the job just before COVID, when our previous chairman became quite ill. But I saw the society through COVID, and then we've picked it up ever since. And so what's that, 6 years? Just over 6 years, 7 years?
Thanks. John, I'm trying to convince people this week that they should join an Astro Society if they're not part of one. It doesn't have to be ours, it can be somewhere else in the country. But I've noticed so many people are not members of Astro Societies, and I've just been reflecting quite a few times tonight on my own learning of all the people who've helped me. We've got a nice ooh in the background as another Perseid goes over. What would you say to people to encourage them to go to a society?
Well, the main thing about joining a society is you join a bunch of friends who are really enthusiastic about the subject, so they'll help you. I remember when we were, during COVID, when we were only being able to talk in Zoom, people had got a telescope, they didn't know how to operate it. But even remotely, we were able to help them and guide them through it. So if you've got new equipment, or you don't know what kind of equipment, as you will know, Martin, one of my big things of late is using the Sea Star. And that has introduced a lot of inexperienced astronomers into glorious astrophotography. And that has only been a benefit that's been achieved by being part of a society.
John is a dear friend of mine, and is one of my favourites in the society, but don't tell anyone. So we look forward to our next jaunt, right, John?
Yep, we got to plan that one.
All right, signing off.
Cheers, take care.
I've just quietly come away from the main event while the Perseids are going on. Unfortunately, I haven't got the camera capabilities with me tonight to show you the Perseids that are coming out, but we do have an hourly zenith rate of about 100. Now, the hourly zenith rate is just a prediction of how many Perseids you can see across the sky at night, and it's not exactly a scientific measure, it's just an estimation. It's amazing that people are here just watching things that are really, most of them are no bigger than a grain of sand, and they're heating up in the atmosphere, burning up, turning into a gas, and that's what causes these wonderful streaks. And if you miss the Perseids this year, there is an opportunity to go and see them next year. It's an area that the Earth always passes through around about this time every single year. So if you missed it this year, then find a society that is doing a public event and join in next year.